What's up, Club 100? This is Joe Delatorre, and I want to talk a little bit about price strategy when it comes to your business. And I'll start off with saying that busy equals broke. And I think when people set up their business, they don't think of it. You guys know me famous for the quote: "If you're not making at least $100,000 a year in your business, you have a hobby. If you're not making at least $1 million a year in your business, you have a job." So when business owners are setting up, I would assume that the thing that they want to make minimum is at least $100,000 a year. What they don't think about is it's really simple if you look at it from the math perspective. Okay. In order to make a six-figure income, you need to be making $8,333 a month, which comes out to about $2,000 a week. Okay. So we'll start there. Then take your business. I want you guys to take your business. You want to really learn how to use price strategy in your business because I think most business owners, to be honest, they don't charge enough because they don't take in consideration everything they need to do to make that transaction possible. So we'll use it as we'll get right into the video though. So let's just say that now that I know that I need to make $8,000 a month, I need to make $2,000 a week. Then to look at my business, how many people what I have to sell on a weekly basis to make at least $2,000 profit, right? And I think, like I said, most business owners don't charge enough. So let's use like a hairdresser, for example, right? Hairdresser, whether they charge 50 up to $100 for the transaction, then they got costs, you got expenses. And let's say you're a traveling person that goes to the person. No one takes in consideration the time it took to get the client, the time it took to get there, the time it came back, the time that was that it was time to be used for the service. At the end of the day, we only have so much time, and our time is way more valuable than money. And I think what most business owners don't take in consideration, they waste a lot of time on things that are not making them money. So, for example, in the network marketing industry, the reason why it's so hard to succeed there is simply because you got to meet so many people, you got to have so many transactions happening, and for you to make a profit. And then sometimes when it comes to the network marketing industry, people will work with one person for months, right? That they had to put hours into that person just to get them on board or to buy the product or service. And then if you do close that, if you think about that $50 commission you made and you think about all the hours that it took you, let's say it took you 20 hours to close that person out, you're only making $5 an hour. You might as well work at a job. So like, for example, a lot of the people that do Uber Eats, I'll use Uber Eats because I guess you can consider that a business if you drive for DoorDash. But when I was hanging out with some friends that do that, I was learning really quickly that the profit is horrible because if I make $10 on that ride, what I didn't take into consideration, it's going to take me 10 minutes to go pick up the food. Then it's going to take me another 10 to 15 minutes to deliver the food. Then I got to wait for the food. So now for that $10, it cost me for that $10 order, it cost me 30 minutes of my time. And that doesn't even include gas. So if you take gas into consideration, you're looking at you made $7 for 30 minutes. And then once they take the fees out, you guys get my point. But when it comes to business owners, they do the same thing. They don't take in consideration all the different avenues of things that have to happen for that business to work. And they don't take in consideration that whatever it took to make that happen, they have to be able to duplicate that because if you can't hire staff to duplicate what you did in your business to get your customers in there, then what ends up happening is then you are a solopreneur and now you're doing everything and you're trying to get people into the business, right? And here's the main reasons why I don't dog on it, but I don't agree with doing networking. A lot of business owners doing networking. First of all, I got to get to the place 30 minutes. Then I got to pay most of the times to get into the event. Then I got to spend 2 hours or 3 hours BSing with people looking for a potential client. Then after that, I got to still follow up with those people. So if you think about it, most people don't get customers from networking events. But let's say you did. Let's say you got one customer out of that networking event. It took you 10 hours to close that. And the reason why most business owners do this is because they don't know what to do to get customers and clients in. So they'll be on social media as another avenue that a lot of people do. They do organic. They'll promote their products. They'll do videos. They'll post content, and they'll be following up with a bunch of people. But even if they make one sale out of all those people that's seen it, they're not making enough money for the time that they're putting in. They're better off getting a job, right? So for example, if when I first started, when you're first starting off in business, you just want customers, so you're willing to charge and be the cheapest. But the problem is when you're trying to be the cheapest, you don't have the marketing, you don't have the resources to be a Walmart, right? You don't want to be the cheapest. I'd rather charge more and get less customers, right? So I can spend more time with that person personally versus being a production and charge really cheap, get a bunch of people. But the problem is, I still got to service those people, right? So, for example, when I used to do seminars back in the day, I first would I sometimes I would charge to get in, but sometimes it would be free. Sometimes I would charge anywhere from $200, $300 just to get people to come to an event and learn for a couple of days. And at the end, we would charge them only like $500 to help them set up all their social media. Well, we didn't realize $500 not a lot, but now if I get 10 people to do that, that's great. $5,000 for me. But now I didn't think about all the hours it's going to take for me to service all those people, which it would make more sense for me to charge $3,000 and only book one person, maybe two people out of that meeting, and then spend a whole month to 2 months with a client versus a bunch of little transactions here and there. And a lot of times, business owners they need so many transactions for them to be profitable or for them to make enough money, and they're willing to do it. So that's why I'm not a fan of networking events. I'm not a fan of setting up a table. And I know a lot of business owners do it because forget about the price it costs for us to do it. Then I got to make sure that when I'm there, I'm working the table. Then I got to spend the day there in the hours, right? Then I got to be talking to people all day, get the leads. Then I got to follow up with those leads. So again, it's just another one of those things that business owners do because they don't know any other way, right? So they go and do that, not realizing that the real enemy is their time. They don't have a lot of time. You only have so much in a week. Plus, do you really want to waste your weekend trying to sell people when you could be doing so many other things to bring people to you? Now you guys know why I got into the marketing business and why I do Facebook advertising specifically, because I am working with business owners to find ways for them to get people in so they don't have to sit on the phone all day. They don't have to go to networking events all day. They don't have to be cold calling people. They don't have to be inboxing people on social media. It's just more time management. That's it. And here's the thing. You're either going to pay for the client with your time and resources, which is more valuable than money, or you're going to pay money to get the attention and get the people that you want to see you anyways, right? So I learned a long time ago when I first started doing seminars, letting people in for free was a big mistake because most people that got in for free were looking for everything for free, right? So when it comes to business, time is your friend, right? And you got to learn, how do I structure my business not only so that I can charge a different price, because when you're making your price points, right? When you're working on what you should charge, you got to take in consideration every single thing that it's going to take your time and resources or something that or someone else's time and resources to outsource to get that client. Then after you get the client, you still got to work with them. So you got to consider the hours that it takes to get to them to that point and the hours it's going to take after you've actually got the money, right? And I think that's why most business owners fail. I think that's why most business owners never see a six-figure income. I think that's why the average business owner only makes $35,000 a year because they set it up from the beginning wrong. They didn't have the price points. They didn't have the time structure. They didn't have the time schedule set up. They don't know what days are more profitable, what days they should be do certain things. They're kind of just letting the business run them every single day. Let's use an example, a restaurant, right? If I was to work at a restaurant, and let's say I did have a successful restaurant, and it was making $80,000, or I was making $8,000 a year take home, but I'm doing 80 hour a week shift, sometimes 100 hours. You got to think about that. Am I really making $8,000 or $6,000 to $8,000 a month, or if you take all the time that I have to put in to make that profitable or to get that amount, I'm like almost splitting it in half, right? And this is the reason why most people get into business and don't have a job, because you either can get paid for your time, right, or you can sell your time and services, or you can get paid for your hours, right? So if you're at a job, you get paid to be there and you get paid an hourly or a salary, whatever, so that you're there, right? When it comes to business owners, we're not getting paid a salary. We're getting paid a price for our service or for our product. And a lot of times, the reason why I don't do why I've turned down so many different business opportunities, because a lot of times the product that they're selling, it might be the most amazing product in the world, and it might sell for only $30, and it's a no-brainer, and anybody should take it. But the way I look at it, and this is my way of looking at it, I have to get a lot of $30 transactions to make a good living versus selling a high ticket item or upping my price to what I'm selling, or selling something that charges more, because then I have to do less work with less people. And even though even though the price I might make a little bit higher for my business, it might give me a little resistance. I'd rather have a little bit of resistance and get more money at the end of the day versus getting no resistance, getting a bunch of people in. But now I have no life, I have no time, and I don't even have time to associate with my family. I don't have time to restructure my business. I don't have time to hire people. I don't have the time to do anything because now that the business is running and it's running the way that you set it up, you're pretty much now time broke, right? And this is why I always say busy equals broke. Anybody that's busy, odds are they're broke because if you're busy, that means someone else is either buying your time or someone else is wasting your time. Either way, it doesn't matter. Your time is your most greatest asset. Unfortunately, most business owners don't think that. And when it comes to price strategy, when it comes to your business, you got to think about the long term. Where do you plan on going? Now, it's okay, whatever you're charging right now, but just so you know, as you start to get new customers, when I work with clients, we start to test new price points on new clients because we want to see what they're willing to pay. You know, it's like that quote, some people aim too low and hit versus aim too high and miss. I'd rather ask for more and see what the marketplace will give me versus what most people do is they basically charge the cheapest because they just want to get people in, right? Like when I'm on, if you guys ever watch the show Shark Tank, the first thing they do is they want to know the profit margin and they want to know how much they're going to make on the price. And if it's anything less than 50%, they think it's a waste of time because when they think of margins, it all has to do with time too. Time of production, growth, you know, can we put someone else in to do that for us? I think you guys get the point. The reason why I wanted to create this video because I see so many business owners waste so much time doing so many different things that they think is helping their business. And it might get you a little bit more attention. It might get you a little bit exposure. But if it's not bringing in paying customers, and if it's not bringing people that are eventually going to pay or become paying customers, then you're wasting a lot of time and resources on things that are not working. Look, at the end of the day, I don't care what business you're in, marketing is king. 90% of your business is marketing. You should be spending most of your time and resources on getting people to know what you do, what product and services, what your offer is. Unfortunately, even when business owners get people in, they don't even give them the offer. So they're just wasting a lot of time yelling at them, talking to them, hoping for them one day to pull the trigger and buy from you. All I can say, guys, wherever you're at in business, take a good look after watching this video. Look at your whole business model, everything you're looking at, and then say, am I charging enough? And then forget about that for a second. Am I making enough? Because if you're not making enough, it has a lot to do with either you're taking on a lot of cheap customers, right? So you're not charging enough, or the fact of the matter is you're taking on some decent people, but you're wasting so much time per person or per unit, right? At the end of the day, I'm a fan of selling high ticket item because if I'm going to spend all the energy and resources and time looking for people to buy from me anyways, why would I want to sell a low ticket item that's going to take me a lot more time, a lot more energy? It's kind of like a lot of times I get pitched the energy companies, which are like everybody needs energy. Yes, but I have to make a lot of transactions to get 25 cents, 50 cents per transaction. So that means I got a lot of people and how much work it's going to take me to build that database and that line of business just doesn't make sense to me. So I hope you guys learned from this video. Hope to see you guys next time at our next event. I will be reaching out to each one of you guys personally in our group to see if you're going to stay or if you're going to move on and don't get any value from our group. Talk to you guys later.